Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? This is going to be the second episode of the new year. Happy New Year again to everybody. I already said it once on the first episode. 2 days later, I'm dropping another episode. Back to back like Drake. You already know what's going on. Anyway, I wanted to get on and talk about what happened last night or early this morning on the January 3rd with Operation Absolute Resolve, where Trump went and captured or arrested, in better words probably, the president Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela. Now, I already know that this is going to be a hot topic and very controversial for a lot of people to be talking about. And usually I don't like talking about nothing controversial because I don't want to ever do nothing like desperate for clicks. I think that's very like low class. But in this situation specifically, I'm very interested in it because I've been kind of rooting for something like this for a while. You know, if you watch some of the other episodes, you know I speak about the American Unionism, where the entire Western Hemisphere becomes one singular federal government, and there's a balance of power with the states, where you have the state rights versus the federal rights. It's basically the United States on steroids, where you just have, instead of just the continental United States, you have all of North America and all of South America and everything in between, all in part of the United States, basically, right? I mean, you can call it the American Union, you can call it the United States, whatever you want to call it, it really doesn't matter. But it has to be done right, and it has to be with the best interest of the individuals living in all these different countries in mind. You know, it's not just about one country or one state, it's about everybody. And, you know, advancing humanity and whatnot. So if you watch some of my other episodes, you already know that this is something that I kind of root for, right? Trump said that it's going to be an interesting next 12 months or so in Venezuela. He said it's going to take some time to rebuild the infrastructure and all that stuff, right? So if you're looking at what he said, we might still be in Venezuela 2-3 years from now. We might not have fully withdrawn. We might still have infrastructure deals or something going on over there. I'm not exactly sure what the Trump vision is of this plan with going into Venezuela, but it's really good that he's not just taking Maduro and then leaving and then just letting whatever happen. Because that's, you know, maybe what Joe Biden would do if Joe Biden even had the nuts to go get Maduro. But we all know that he ain't got no nuts, right? The only people Joe Biden is going to go out there and go get is the gang members and the crazy people from the mental asylums, and bring them back to the United States, give them free money from the taxpayers. So I've talked to different people from Venezuela, and they all say that they support this type of activity, right? They all say that they would like for Venezuela to become the 51st state. They all say Maduro is a criminal that brings mass suffering for the Venezuelan people. So there's no way you could look at this and say it's a bad thing unless the aftermath is worse than what's been going on the last 5, 10, 15 years in Venezuela. Which, from what I hear from firsthand accounts of people who were living in Venezuela and came here to the United States at different points, some 5 years ago, some 10, 15 years, some 25 years ago, even people, all just different age groups of people from Latin America, specifically some of my friends from Venezuela. They all support it. They all say that they want Venezuela to be the 51st state. They all say Maduro's a crook. They all say the people are suffering and that it's this horrible thing what's going on over there. So it'd be really tough for Trump to screw this up and end up doing worse for the Venezuelans than what they were suffering already, particularly under Nicolas Maduro. Anyway, Great day for America. Great day for the American unionism. Great day for Venezuela people. Yeah, man. And another thing, you already know that this display of power is going to have an indirect effect in the upcoming Chinese-Taiwan conflict and the ongoing Ukrainian-Russia conflict, in the sense that Venezuela was an ally to both China and Russia. Venezuela has a strategic location in the Western Hemisphere to where if World War III was to kick off, that would be an extremely vulnerable issue, for lack of a better term, for the United States, being that you'd have to deal with Venezuela before you'd potentially be able to respond to Taiwan, or before you'd be potentially able to respond in mainland Europe to defend the rest of NATO. So, especially if, China or Russia was able to sneak in 100,000 guys on a cargo ship, if they were able to do that for 10 cargo ships a month for 10 months, and they'd have like 1 million guys already, you know what I mean? So they'd be able to rapidly mobilize guys, strategically put them in Venezuela, but now that's not a possibility. Now you're also no longer able to get cheap sanctioned oil from Venezuela. Now that the sanctions will probably be lifted soon, so that means that Venezuela will be able to sell their oil for twice as much, if not more, than what they were able to sell it to the Chinese and Russia authoritative states. So just based off of that, you're hurting the Chinese economy. You're showing the Chinese you're serious in terms of military prowess. You're hurting the Russia economy. You're showing Russia that, look, man, you really don't want to fuck with us, man. All those little drones and shit that they send over Poland and that they'll send over towards Denmark, and all the different shit that China and Russia does with their navy to provoke the Western powers. Trump just pulled out the Uno reverse card. He just said, look, motherfuckers, y'all don't want to fuck with us. I really think that's a good move. I really think that Trump potentially saved millions of lives with what he did today. Peace through strength it's hard to quantify what exactly that means or how that would look, but you know it when you see it. And I seen it today when I woke up this morning at 5:30. At that point, I don't want to speak about things I don't really know about, but apparently they launched the operation at like midnight. They got there at 1 Eastern time, 1 in the morning, right? But I don't want to go about the details and stuff like that. If you want details about what happened, there's other channels that'll give you a better breakdown about that. I'm more or less just reacting to it and just telling my thoughts and how I think that this affects the American Unionism Initiative. Anyway, Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you're all having a good day, unless you're Mandora. I hear some people on the internet saying you got to go get Xi next. We'll see. I'm not sure what Trump has in plans next. I heard he's saying something about Cuba. I think Marco Rubio would like to take Cuba back. Anyway. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.